Hey, good morning. This morning we're going to have a special speaker. David Corey, he's a member of the church family. David is a veteran with experience in Afghanistan and Iraq. David also has a calling. God's laid several messages on his heart, and this morning he's going to deliver the message. And here you go, bud.
Thank you very much. Let me make sure I get this on here. Good morning, everyone. How are y'all doing this morning? So, wow, I think I got the wrong message up here. Hold on one second. That's a different reference. There we go. This is what today is going to be about. Many people, if you're part of the nerd community like I am, this month just so happens to be National Star Wars Month. Wonderful thing that was created by a gentleman named George Lucas and came out in a wonderful year called 1977. A lot of things came out in 1977. Reba McEntire's debut album. Some weird guy that's speaking to you today. 1977, great year. But usually May the 4th is National Star Wars Day. But it turns out that the entire month of May has connection to Star Wars. And then I'm going to make sure that you guys know what the connection Star Wars is to today's message. First thing I'm going to do, though, is tell you exactly why this is Star Wars month. May 1st is 501st Day. 501st is a cosplay group that very strict standards on their Star Wars cosplay. They do a lot of charity work. May 4th, well, National Star Wars Day. May the 4th be with you. Bad dad joke pun. May the 5th, well, I know on here it says Revenge of the 5th, after Revenge of the Sith, but no, that's tomorrow. Today's Cinco de Mayo. You know that. Everyone go get a taco today. May 14th, George Lucas's birthday. May 16th, Attack of the Clones anniversary. That's when that came out in the 90s. May 19th, TPM, Revenge of the Sith. Forgot what TPM was, and I apologize on that one. I should be a better nerd. May 20th, Empire Day. May 21st, The Empire Strikes Back. May 25th, A New Hope, also known as the original Star Wars. Return of the Jedi and Solo. And then May 27th was when the Obi-Wan series was released. That series right there is really going to fit into today's message. Now, I spoke to Pastor Mark earlier this week and let him know that my message changed. I was actually going to go with that Revenge of the Fifth theme. Talk about revenge and how it fits into the Bible and our everyday lives, but something happened this week. Talking to one of my coworkers, and he's been going through a lot. Not going to mention his name, not going to mention what he's going through, but we have talked about him before. But we had a conversation earlier this week that he had told his family he's renouncing his religion. He's angry at God right now because of everything that's going on in his life. Now, the thing is I've done that myself. I've been angry at God. Many, many times. I've questioned my faith. I'm pretty sure I will question it again. I'm pretty sure everyone here has done that. Pretty sure those of you watching on the interwebs, YouTube, Facebook, you've done that too. And I know that it's a struggle. Now, one of the things that, at least with me, I don't know if it was with him, even though he did say that his family was angry and was trying to tell him, well, this is what you got to do, this is what you got to do. A lot of Christians will do that when someone's struggling. They're like, well, you need to pray, you need to do this, you need to do that. Sometimes that's not the best thing. if you look at the Bible, a lot of different references in there to people being angry at God. One such reference, and Matthew, see if I know Pastor Mark's going to know this, but Matthew 27:46. You remember that? You know that verse? He knows it well. About 3 in the afternoon, Jesus cried out in a loud voice, and I'm going to pronounce this wrong. Eli, Eli, lama sabachthani. Please forgive me for the pronunciation. That means, my God, why have you forsaken me? If Jesus is questioning his own Father, what a bigger reference do you need? But I am going to go with the way of the lost with another reference. We're going, if you turn into your Bibles, Psalm 6. I use the New International Version for this. The author of Psalms, or the book of Psalm, shares a name with me, and that's David. Wrote a lot of things regarding faith, regarding being a warrior. Psalm 91, that's a close psalm to my heart. This one kind of resonated with me. Lord, do not rebuke me in your anger or discipline me in your wrath. Sometimes that's something that Christians do to other Christians a lot. If you look at your everyday life, or if you need movie references, look at Star Wars. In Star Wars, you have the two sides, and I'm going to bring out my little tool. You guys know I tend to bring reference points. In Star Wars, you have the Empire and the Rebellion. You also have the Jedi and the Sith. Jedi and Sith use a wonderful thing called lightsaber. Now, let's see if I can get this turned on right when I need it to work. So, the Sith, which is often, a lot of people are like, oh, they're the bad guys. They're the bad guys. That's the color of their lightsaber. Every single one of them red. Every single one, if you read any of the references, you watch the movies, every Sith came to being because of being lost in their faith in fellow man, in Jedi, and they were led astray from certain points of view. Now, the Jedi, this is going to go through a rainbow of colors while it's sitting up here. You'll notice a lot of the movies, you're going to see Jedi have blue, green. Cartoon series, there's pink, there's white, there's red. Mace Windu, played by Samuel L. Jackson. He had purple. Granted, that was Samuel L. Jackson's choice, not choice of creators, but there's a lot of different ways that they come about their colors. Well, the one thing is they don't question their faith. And that's something that I also see a struggle in. If you don't question your faith, sometimes you don't question other things, which could also lead you down the wrong path. Every person in the Bible, especially David, when you see them questioning their faith and questioning why God's doing something, there's a reason. They're going through a lot of struggles at the time. But how many of their fellow believers, fellow Christians, are doing that pushing, trying to be there and trying to get them to keep their faith by telling them this or telling them that? Sometimes that can lead to the wrong decision. If you'll notice in Psalm 6, as David's writing this, yes, he is airing his grievances. He's asking for mercy, but he's also airing his grievances with God. It's okay to be angry with God and with situations. Verse 2, have mercy on me, Lord, for I am faint. Heal me, Lord, for my bones are in agony. My soul is in deep anguish. How long, Lord, how long? It takes time. Some of us go through struggles, be it health, be it financial, be it whatever. I know that it takes time to go through those struggles. Sometimes there's an old saying that I've heard, God only gives the hardest struggles to his toughest warriors or strongest warriors. And I got told that many times during my struggles, and I came up to the conclusion that if that's the case, why am I not Superman at this time? Because it does go on for a while. And it makes you question. Turn, Lord, and deliver me. Save me because of your unfailing love. We know that God loves us and that his love is unfailing. But sometimes with the struggles that are out there, it's hard. Among the dead, no one proclaims your name. Who praises you from the grave? I am worn out from my groaning. All night long I flood my bed with weeping and drench my couch with tears. How many of us have, I know you out in the internet can't raise your hand, but in here, how many of us have cried ourselves to sleep? I will admit. How many of us have gone to work, tear coming out of our eye, but we have a smile on our face, pretending nothing's wrong? There's a lot of things that we have done just to hide our pain. My eyes grow weak from sorrow. They fail because of all my foes. This world has a lot of foes in it, doesn't it? Especially right now. There's a lot of things that we are all going through, that this country is going through, people of other countries are going through. You'll have to excuse me, I'm getting a little parched. No, I'm not opening what people think I am. It's a Red Bull. Oh, I'm glad people brought that up. Remember, he said that he asked the question, does it give you wings? No, but eventually, if people keep drinking stuff like this on a constant basis, it will.
Or palpitations.
Yep, because it does set my heart aflutter sometimes. Away from me, all of you who do evil, for the Lord is hearing my weeping. I think that's something that we really do need to understand. God does hear our prayers. God does hear our sorrows. He sees the things that we are going through. There's always a time for the answer. God's time is not our time. I know us being human, we want instant answers. These things here can be both a blessing and a curse, because we can get some of those instant answers. But how many of those answers are the right answer? Those of you in college and school, Google is not always the best friend, neither is Wikipedia. Because those can be changed by everyone, and the answers can always change. Or is the great, now we're going with the pro wrestling nerd side of me, the great Roddy Piper once said, just when you think you have all the answers, I change all the questions. That's what happens in life. The Lord has heard my cry for mercy, and the Lord accepts my prayer. All my enemies will be overwhelmed with shame and anguish. They will turn back and suddenly be put to shame. Think as I myself, I'm not going to speak for others. I'm speaking for my own journey. Through all my struggles, every time that I've questioned God, I knew eventually things would come to pass. That there was a reason for what I was going through. I didn't know the reason why I was going through it at the time. Sometimes it takes self-reflection in order to understand. And human nature is to try, some human nature, I'm not going to say all, but some human nature is to try to help people that are hurting. So, with Christians, seeing someone else that is hurting, when I was talking about this, you try to bring them to the Lord. You try to remind them, but sometimes it's not the best thing. We all need to know that the light's there. Our own light's going out. Things that our struggles are pretty much closing in. What sometimes hurts the situation is people telling you, no, the light's here, the light's there, the light's here, the light's there. This is what you need to do, this is what you need to do. That can come across as judgment to someone who's in that situation. We don't know each other's struggles. We might have been through something similar, but we don't know what's going on through here. We don't know what's going on through here in the heart. Sometimes the best thing you can do for someone, and you know I'm going to be sharing this message with you. I already told you I'm sharing it with you later on today. I'm going to say this to y'all, and I'm saying this directly to you. I know you're losing your light. You can borrow some of mine, or I'm going to do something one better. I will sit in the darkness with you till you find your own light, or till the light finds you, because sometimes that's what we need. We don't need the advice. We don't need the judgmental ear or the judgmental words. We need to not be alone. We need to know that someone's sitting there with us, allowing us to feel what we feel, to experience what we're experiencing. And when the time comes, to be by our side as we walk out, walk into the light that we know that's there. Romans 14, there's a lot of verses with when it comes to that. I was reading it, and I know a lot of people are like, well, doesn't it talk about eating? Well, if a person's full of faith, they can eat anything, but if they have little faith, they can eat vegetables. It's like, no, it's not what I'm a fat guy myself, all right? I love food. Just because verses are talking about food doesn't mean they're talking about food. They're talking about what we need, each person, to grow our faith. Those who are strong in faith, yeah, you can eat everything. Those of us who our faith has been weakened, they're hurt. I see Pastor Mark looking this up over there. He's like, I see him. He's like, oh, what's it? You can only have, when our faith is weak, sometimes you can only have that little bit. It's just like being sick. If you're sick, you're not going to want to eat everything in sight. You know what? A little bit of soup's going to help. Something light on the stomach. But the one verse that kind of struck me out of this one that really fits with this is Romans 14:13. Therefore, let us stop passing judgment on one another. That's what I said. It feels like judgment when you try to push, oh, you need to do this. Instead, make up your mind not to put any stumbling block or obstacle in the way of a brother or sister. I think that's what we all need to understand. It doesn't matter whether, pointing this out, it doesn't matter to me whether you're Christian, whatever denomination, Catholic, Baptist, Protestant, Nazarene, Lutheran. Doesn't matter if you follow Islam, if you Jewish, whatever. To me, it doesn't matter if you're an atheist. It does not matter if you're purple. It just doesn't matter. Don't be a stumbling block or an obstacle for someone. If you read, when reading the Bible, the other week Pastor Mark, you had brought up about Jesus after he was resurrected, meeting the two gentlemen walking along the path. And he blocked who he was from them. He didn't outright tell them they were wrong, tell them this, tell them that. He allowed them to voice how they felt. He was going to continue walking. They invited him in. It was then that he revealed who he was, and they're like, okay, so it is true. That it takes time. It takes time to go through our struggles. It takes time to go through everything and to see what the outcome is. Those of us going through the struggles should know that. But those around us who see us going through the struggle should understand that too.
Volume high.
No, I don't want the volume high. Yes, just like my mental health.
Flash off.
I'll just let this do what it's doing. Now that it has a sound, wish I could mute it again. Just shut this off. We are all going through struggles every day. And I apologize for that. I apologize for the technical difficulties, folks. We all go through struggles every day. What we need is to realize that other people are going through struggles. Telling them how to get through them when we don't know exactly how they feel and how they view it might not help. Sit with them, share a little of your light so that they know that it's there. Help them to find their own. Because you never know, through all good intentions, you can lead them, all the good intentions, forcing your view can lead them to the dark side, for all you know. Like I said, Obi-Wan Kenobi, that wonderful series that came out, made me view Star Wars more as from the eyes of a Christian. Kind of weird. Also made me view it as more of a guy, eyes of a person who goes through struggles, because granted, the Star Wars movies came out in a weird order. Episodes 4, 5, and 6 before 1, 2, and 3. Probably because Yoda was in charge of production at the time. Yes. But first movies, Obi-Wan was really only there for A New Hope and a little bit here and there of the next two movies. The other movies that came out in the 90s, Obi-Wan was a big part. And you saw how he was as a Jedi and how he had all this hope. Man watched as his Jedi Master was killed. He watched his best friend turn to the dark side. Then he ended up getting the high ground on him and, doing some questionable things. But no one ever talked about how that affected him until the Obi-Wan series came out. He became like those that wandered in the desert for 40 years. He wandered, trying to understand everything that had gone on, trying to figure out what was right and what was wrong. I think all of us do that. And it took in that series for someone to meet him where he was. Pastor Mark hears me say that all the time. I try to meet people where they are, understand them from that point, and see how I can be a light to them at that point. And oddly enough, in Star Wars, the person who met him where he was the exact person that turned on him. Anakin Skywalker, then known as Darth Vader, thinking that those two were going to kill each other. They didn't. One, because, that would just end a entire multi-billion-dollar franchise. But also, it showed that even in the dark side, even when we're in the dark, we know right from wrong. And there's always that glimmer of hope that we can get back to get back on our path. As Christians, we always have that hope. His name's Jesus. Read the Bible, especially look for those words in red, as my grandmother would say. So those words are some of the most important. So in closing, as you can see, hey, we got another Star Wars reference up here. A lot of it, our life is a matter of choice. We choose how we can help others. We choose what paths we take. If I can leave you with anything, I hope that you choose to love your fellow man. I hope you choose to be kind. And above all, Oh, look at that. See that cute little face. And look, Logan's there too. But I hope you choose to do whatever brings you peace, and that you find your path back to your faith. Personally, belief is, to me, you believe in things that you can see. You have faith in things that you can't. Have faith in your understanding. Have faith in that God's got you. And do whatever makes your heart feel peace, even if it means taking a weird picture with a tiny droid. Thank you all very much.